Okay, for today's lesson, we are going to be thinking about what we learned about multiplicative comparison, and we're going to be combining that knowledge with word problems. So one thing that I do want you to remember whenever you look at these word problems, and whether it's when we're doing ones on multiplication or any kind of word problems, there are some things we should do every time that help us stay organized. And it kind of follows a little song, and the song goes like this. Underline the question, circle information, choose the operation, it's the problem-solving way. Da-da-da-da, 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 da-da-da-da. Okay, and then you just can repeat that as many times as you need to get that in your head. So the first thing we said to do was underline the question. So here's a word problem we have right here. It says, the horses on the farm eat 4 bales of hay each day. The cows eat 3 times that amount. How much hay do the cows eat? So we're going to underline the question. That's what it's asking is, how much hay do the cows eat? Okay, then we're going to circle the important information. So the first thing we needed to know was that the horses on the farm eat 4 bales. So I'm going to circle that because that's important to know. The cows eat 3 times that amount. So that's important to know. And notice that's not saying they eat 3 bales of hay. They're eating 3 times more than the horses. Okay, so I'm going to actually draw a model. And this model is similar to what we looked at yesterday whenever we showed how to model a multiplicative comparison. So I'm going to just put an H here to show the first thing I'm talking about is horses, and the second thing I'm talking about is cows. Okay, every time I do these models, the first thing I do is put the letters to show what I'm talking about, and then I'm going to make a box and a box. And these boxes represent the exact same amount. If I were a computer, they would look perfect. They would be exact copies of each other. Okay, so now I'm going to finish this drawing, this model. I'm going to make it match what the problem says. Okay, so it says the cows eat 3 times what the horses did. So right now it's looking like the cows and the horses are even. So I need to make the cows have 3 times as much as the horses. So now the horses has 1 box and the cows have 3 boxes. Okay, so now I'm going to fill in what do I know. I know that the horses eat 4 bales of hay. So this box right here represents a 4. Now remember I said the boxes were exact copies of each other. So if this is a 4, that means that this one was worth 4. And these were also copies of each other. So this was worth 4 and that's worth 4. So now my model looks like this. I've got the horses showing 4 and the cows showing 3 times that amount, which is what it should have shown, right? Well, how much is that? I could count it out. I could say 4 plus 4 is 8 plus 4 is 12, or I can just know that 4 times 3 is 12. So I'm going to put the total at the end right here. Okay, the next part of the question was, how much hay did the cows eat? So that means I only care about this part in this question. Okay, so if I'm going to write this as an equation, what did I do to get that 12? Well, I know that I took the number 4 and I had to repeat it 3 times. So I took 3 times the number 4, and it was going to equal some amount, right? And that's why I put that H there. That H is a variable. A variable is a letter that just stands for an unknown amount. So I know that I had 3 times the number 4, and it was going to equal something. Whenever I figured it all out, I knew that the H equaled 12. And 12 what? I need a label on it. So it was 12 bales of hay. So that would be the answer to that problem. Okay, I have the problem repeated down here, but there's just a little bit of a change. Let's see if you can see what the change is. So now it says the horses on the farm ate 4 bales of hay each day. The cows eat 3 times that amount. How much hay do the cows and horses eat all together? So here's my question. Underline the question. Circle information. Okay, so I've got 4 bales and then 3 times that amount, and then how much they have all together. So whenever I go to draw my model, I'm going to still have horses and cows. And remember, my models always start like this. What I'm talking about and an equal box. Okay, then I'm going to make my boxes match the problem. So here it says the cows are 3 times that amount. So now it looks like this. Okay, so again, the horses had 4. These were carbon copies of each other. So if that's the 4, that's the 4, and that's the 4. And then I'm going to put the totals at the end. Okay, but my question here was, how much did they eat all together? That's an important word. So now instead of just looking at cows, I'm looking at everybody. So if I want to write my equation, for the equation, we would have exactly what we're looking for here. So we're going to see what we did with the cow amount, right? So that was 4 3 times, right? So we had 3 times the number 4, and that was for the cow. I'm just going to put that in parentheses just to show that's the first thing that we did. And then here we need to do all together. So we also need to include the amount that the horse had. So that was 4 bales that the horse had. So this is a total amount of bales. We don't know how many it is yet, so that's why we have a B there. That is a variable. Remember, a variable can be any lowercase letter. It just stands for an unknown amount. So we've got the cow amount, 3 times 4, plus the additional 4 equals the bales. Okay, so I could have my multiplication facts memorized, which is always preferable, and know that 3 times 4 is 12, or I could count them out. I could say 4 plus 4 is 8, plus 4 is 12, and then I've got 4 more, right, the horse amount. So the total of this is 16 bales. So this was different than that first problem, because that first problem just wanted to know how much the cows did. This problem asked how many altogether. Okay, so let's try another one. Okay, so we've got this question here. So it says, the museum had 5 schools visit on Monday. On Tuesday, there were 4 times as many schools visiting. How many schools visited the museum on Tuesday? So here's our underline the question. Circle our important information. So we had 5 schools visiting on Monday, and then on Tuesday there were 4 times that amount. So remember, this is not just 4 more, this is 4 times. So we're going to start our model drawing like we will every single time. We're going to start with Monday and Tuesday, so letters that show us what we're talking about, and equal boxes. And then we go from there. Okay, so Monday, we had 5 schools visiting. Tuesday, it was 4 times that amount. So this doesn't show that right now. Right now, it shows the same amount. So here's 2 times the amount of Monday. There's 3 times the amount of Monday. And here is 4 times the amount of Monday. So now we've got Tuesday showing 4 times as much as Monday. Okay, if Monday was a 5, then we know that this box is a 5, because remember, they all match, right? Then that's a 5, then this one's a 5, and then this one's a 5. Okay, our question was how many schools visited the museum on Tuesday? So I'm only looking at this one right here. So if I go to write an equation for this, what was happening right here? Well, I had the number 5, right? And I had to have it go 4 times. So 4 times 5 equals some amount of schools that visited. So I'm going to use an S, right? You could use any lowercase letter. I just chose an S because it showed me that it was for the number of schools. So whenever I get the answer to that, if I have my multiplication facts memorized, I would know that 4 times 5 is 20, or I could count it out. I'd have 5, 10, 15, 20. I'm going to write the answer right at the end of the model there. So my answer is 20 schools. And if you have a hard time figuring out what you should do with your label, go back to the question that's underlined. How many schools visited the museum? And it would make sense if your answer was 20 schools. All right, so that is a brief introduction of how to do some model drawing for problem solving. I hope you have good luck with this, and I'll see you.